This episode is brought to you by Bellator's Publishing, bringing stories to the world that last forever. Have you been wondering what Baylor's signet is? Well, I think we get a pretty big hint here, if not a confirmation. Rhee says, ask Viert how many Baylor can see. A dragon wouldn't need to ask their rider. I think he's like Liam.
She said, oh my god, that is bigger than Codah, or looks bigger than Codah. And Tairn like, yes, because he is gonna be my fine skills to date.
This feels like the conversation they had about whether Tairn would win the fight against Codah, doesn't it? But I do think that Tairn is going to have a fight with Codah. Or Kaori's doing some like bonkers illusion. Bodhi's there retching on the ground when he's not. Or he is somehow in two places at once. It doesn't stack up yet.
We don't know Bodhi's a signet.
Ooh!
Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy,
the husband and wife podcast talking all things Onyx Storm.
I'm JC.
And I'm Sean.
And today we cover chapters 61 to 63. And just heads up, we use strong language and explore adult themes.
This episode will contain spoilers from all three books, as well as snippets of information we've had from Rebecca Yarros since the release of the third book.
And before we start with the squad brief, imagine having early access to our episodes. While everyone waits for Thursday, you'll enjoy them every Tuesday. Plus, enjoy a bonus episode every month and ad-free listening. You can have it all by becoming a supporter. And here's the best part, you can try it for free and cancel anytime. For the best deal, visit faithfullyfantasy.com or simply subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts for instant access. Don't miss out and become part of our community of supporters.
Also, if you're enjoying the show, please take a second to rate us wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all of it. It helps more fantasy lovers find us, and it's one of the easiest ways to support what we do. A quick tap and you've made our day. We are getting so close to diving into the world of Ceres and Kingfisher. If you haven't read it yet, there is still time to read Quicksilver before we start our new season on July 24th. We will be wrapping up our coverage of Onyx Storm in just a few weeks with a live episode over on Instagram, so keep an eye out on our Instagram for more information.
And now, without further ado, let's get into Squad Brief.
We are Rhee. We are Violet. We are Imogen. We are everyone, everywhere, all at once. The squad is split, but we get a Fierge eye view of what I'm calling the Battle of the Madaro Pass, as Rhee, Sawyer, Riddick, Bragan, Kat and Marin defend the civilians climbing the cliffs of Draylor from the latest onslaught of Wyvern. Violet is fighting the silver-haired thunderstorm without Tairn, but no fear. Anyone order a slightly terrifying, slightly rude, slightly complimentary giant blue Uber. Sigale to the rescue. She plucks her off the ground just before Tairn arrives back. Now we're Imogen, and we are yet again having our hearts stabbed with a butter knife as Quinn falls. She's scared. She doesn't want to be scared. But Imogen promises her mum and sister will be there waiting for her on the other side. Imogen has to get up. Our still hazel-eyed walker has her. For now. Garrick is walking away. Bodhi is retching in the town square. Wyvern litter the rooftops. The sky darkens further.
On these chapters, if we had any doubts about who was the Venin brother, after reading all of this, we are completely clueless, I would say. Because now it's just...
I've changed my mind.
It's so many things that can go from one way to another one. But obviously we're going to see all of this in this episode. And yeah, you can tell us what you think, because it's just confusing.
This episode, this stretch of chapters has me really questioning how convinced I was it was Bodhi.
I remember there was a part of me that was thinking, it can't be any of them.
Yeah.
It can't be Bodhi, it can't be Gary. So who is it?
In this chapter, yeah, but previously when we've been reading, we've been saying, it can't be anyone else. It's got to be Bodhi. It can be other people. Can't it? Oh, this one.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun one. But
Yeah, we'll break it down.
yes. Just let's go for a history lesson now and let's dive deep and see what the past is hiding about the future.
Chapter 61.
Epigraph.
Command is built on respect, rules, and obedience. Squads are built on trust. Leadership for Second Years by Major Pippa Donans. This, for me, is really about Rhi having to trust the squad, isn't it? The squad is split. She's got to trust that her team, who she can't have complete command over, are going to do it without her, and she just has to trust them. She has to keep her eyes on the immediate prize.
Yes.
I think it also does show a bit of how different command and a squad leader is. Squad leaders can be one of the gang, like they can be a bit closer to people, whereas command has to be like, you have to follow the rules, you have to do what you're told. I feel like this is a perfect epigraph for what will be our first non-Violet or Xaden POV chapter.
Yeah, definitely, completely agree. And that's how we start this chapter. We started with Rhi's point of view, and she is talking about the first thing that called her attention is that massive wind has stopped. So it's the wind that we saw in the previous chapter when Theophany started to give away that she is a storm wielder, that she wasn't a lightning wielder as everyone was thinking about it. Rhi has to defend the Madero Pass, and she has basically her squad with her. So Sawyer is there, Raido, the Marin and Catriona as well, and the part of the Griffons. Yes. So it's basically like the Iron Squad.
Without Quinn, Imogen, Violet.
And Violet. They are like some of the main pillars of the squad.
Yeah, and the first years. The first years are supposed to be up at the top of the cliffs helping
the civilians to arrive.
Civilians.
Yes.
Obviously, Auric is not. But
Sloan, yes.
Well, Sloan should be by now.
Yes, we started with Rin and don't know what happened with Auric or with Sloan. But I think there's a point where she sees Marp, maybe by the end. So then as well is going back to position after everything is happening.
Yeah, Dane is all over the place, isn't he?
Yes, definitely. Something else that calls Rhi's attention is Tairn. Tairn is flying with Tiny, and Violet is not with him. So she is worried that Violet is on the ground without Tairn's power, and she doesn't know how long she will be doing this.
Rhi says, according to Kath's latest intel, Ryerson and Duran are together by the city walls. So it's like, I think the time after Bodhi has been picked up by Kor.
He goes straight away to see Xaden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't stay with Xaden, does he?
No,
Unless he's in two places at once, which is the problem.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe Xaden, when he sees him there, he'll say, like, what are you doing here? You have to come back to Arasia or something. Then he just leaves to go to
Drathus.
The other ones. Yes.
Yeah. So we get a real good, look at what it's like to be another bonded pair. Because we've only had Andarna and Tairn and Violet and Sigale and Xaden at this moment. Like, they're the only point of view chapters we've had so far.
Mm-hmm.
This is a green dragon, and I think Fierge is different. Fierge is kind of, you can tell she's clever, but she's also a bit sarcastic, and she's also a bit playful. And you can tell she's sometimes giving Rhi a bit of a hard time, but partly it's joking and partly it's like to give her a bit more confidence. I really liked her. I did not think that we would get a Rhiannon POV chapter. If somebody, if I would not have put money on that prior to Onyx Storm.
No, I would say it will be always Xaden Violet. But then when we started reading this, the very first time, we had Rihanna, we had Imogen, we had Xaden. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a Dane in book 4.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
We might have a Bodhi or Garrick as well.
We'll see. So Rhi says Zanal gives what he sees fit. She's complaining about the weather, and she's talking a bit about her twin sister and how her twin has a bit of a different perspective to her. And Rhiannon's talking about Zanal giving what he sees fit. If he thinks it needs to rain, it needs to rain. Is that because Violet needs to have the cloud cover so that she can fry all the wyvern? But I liked it as a link back to the gifts from the gods, and we need to just be on the lookout for those gifts to be coming back, because he gave them for a reason. He gives what he sees fit, and we haven't seen them at all. Garrick features so heavily in this group of chapters, and he's not got his rusty bucket with him.
That's a really interesting gift. I wonder what he can do with that, if it's something special, because a rusty bucket, it doesn't sound that special.
I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it is useful and it's not just symbolic. Of him like becoming a husk.
Yeah.
Rhi is looking around at her squad. She's got several people there. She notices Riddick staring at the peak. So if you think about where they are, and we will kind of try and sketch this out, won't we, at some point? They are in the valley, protecting the cliffs of Draelor with the Madaro Pass, which climbs up from Poromil down near Drathus up to Eratia at the top of the cliffs. They have some mountains between them and Drathus, and Riddick is staring at the peak. It's like he's trying to see through them. It's like he's obviously also thinking of Violet. And I think it's just supposed to be a bit symbolic that Rhi is worried. Yes. Yeah, everyone's worried. But I wonder if Riddick is using Atrum's foresight at that point, because it does look, it sounds like he's staring at something, he's trying to see something. I wonder if Atrum is doing the same thing that Tairn does later on in this stretch of chapters, and allows Riddick to see something through his sight.
I wouldn't be surprised, because Atrum looks like it's the coolest dragon. He's like really chill, he's playful, so maybe if I could see
it's
there.
Also really fast.
Yeah.
Did you know he can outfly a green fire wyvern?
Yeah.
He's really fast.
And the scale as well, because in the way that he was approaching a wyvern so Riddick can touch it, that requires a lot of skills.
Like,
well.
Can you imagine that in the TV show where they're like,
and then your Riddick stretching the arm and touching.
I mean, the wings. Yeah, the wings are like flapping, and they're basically holding position in the air. Yeah, that's going to be really cool. So Maren and Kat fall into line kind of beside them. Rhi makes a point of saying that neither Maren nor Kat look any the worse for wear. And I thought this was weird. I kind of think that this is probably just to show how good they are in battle. But it's like not a hair out of place, not a scratch on them. It just makes it seem like either they haven't been fighting or they're just so at home on the back of a griffin. I would hope that it was the second one. And I think it's just to show that they're great in battle. Or do you think it could mean anything else? That they basically don't look any worse for wear?
They need to be like really good, because they've been fighting the Venin. They knew about the Venin from the beginning. The Riders and Basgaya, they were like training just to attack the Griffons, and that shouldn't be that impressive, because Griffons are really small in comparison to a dragon.
Yeah.
But Griffons, they know the Wyverns are way more bigger, so they need to be fast, they need to be strong, they need to be clever. So Flyer has to be really good.
Yeah. And then I think that's probably why Kat gets a bit pissed off, doesn't she, with Rhi, because she doesn't understand why she's holding them back. But Rhi explains that it's because they can maneuver. They're a lot more agile than the dragons. They can get closer to the cliffs. But we know that their altitude they struggle at altitude, but obviously they've become a bit more accustomed to it because they've spent time at Eratia.
Yeah.
Have you been wondering what Baylor's signet is? Well, I think we get a pretty big hint here, if not a confirmation. I think he's like Liam. So they're looking for wyvern, and Rhi says, ask Viert how many Baylor can see. a dragon wouldn't need to ask their rider unless their rider has farsight. So he can see a lot more wyvern. So I think that there is just confirmation that Baylor has manifested a signet now, and he has farsight like Liam.
Yes, I remember I found that really suspicious, but then when you told me that, he's exactly like Liam, then was like, of course, it makes total sense, because Baylor is first year, so he will be on the top of the cliff. He had like the best view if he has far sight.
Yeah.
And why asking to him, not to the dragon?
Yeah, because dragons have really good sight. But then it says the gift later on, Tairn kind of says the dragon's gift of sight is afforded only to a few. But it does feel like when a rider has farsight, it's actually greater than a dragon's sight, doesn't it? It feels like they can see more.
Yeah, I think it's superior, the one from the dragons. Otherwise, it won't make any sense.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm totally convinced that Baylor now he's a farsight exactly like Liam.
Yeah, because we lost one.
Yes. So yeah, like you say, Baylor is 17. Fjord responded second later, 17. And Rhea is thinking, okay, 17 against 3 dragons and 4 griffons. Shit, that's a little bit menacing. And then it's Fierce, the one who said, then let us be menacing. And this is like one of the sneak peeks that we have from Rebecca Yarros before Onyx Storm was released. We were thinking it was Andarna, the one who was saying this.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to go back to that post and like flick through to see if anyone guessed that it will be anyone other than Andarna, Violet, Mira.
No, because honestly, what we will think it will be a dragon that we had never been undermined.
Yeah, no one would have predicted that.
No, that was totally surprised.
Yeah. We see Rhea taking ownership of like this whole situation, but she is second guessing herself. And this comes back to kind of things we've said before about possibly Rhea not being the leader that the team need at this particular time. Kat isn't making it easy for her, is she? Kat's disagreeing with everything she's saying. Kirilla is disgruntled. Kirilla sounds like a bit of a pain, to be honest. Just kind of a bit like, I don't know, all of them are a bit of a pain. Dragons are pains. But Kirilla is disgruntled with Rhea's decision to keep them by the cliffs under Bragan's command. And it's not clear whether it's just because they're being kept by the cliffs, or whether it's because they don't want to be under Bragan's command. Possibly, well, Kat definitely sees herself as a leader, doesn't she?
Yeah.
But I'd be really surprised if she was that poor a team player in this kind of situation. So you would hope that it was just because she disagreed with the formation rather than Bragan's command.
Yes. But yeah, we see Rhea is a little bit second guessing everything, and I think it's just because she knows that this is not games, this is real world. Every wrong decision that she takes, it will cost somebody's life. But we had a sass moment from her dragon as well, because then the dragon says, second guessing your choice make me do the same regarding threshing. And Rhea take it like very well, because she said, really funny. But still a little bit like, ouch.
Yeah. I do think Rhea, two things really. I don't know what it's like to be a commanding officer in the military, but in any other situation, as human beings, we don't. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to reassess the situation. I mean, even in military and combat, you would want to be able to reassess the situation and change your mind. You just, I guess that Rhea was having, her internal monologue was a little bit like this one. Oh no, maybe this one. And she was, overthinking it a bit. I don't know if it bodes massively well for Rhea's leadership.
I think in the end, Fierce was trying to help her, because she was in the end just like laughing at her, like, are you sure that's what you want to do? So maybe giving that kind of confidence that doesn't matter what you choose, just choose one thing and go for that.
I wonder how Fierce feels, because often she has to tell dragons that are a lot bigger and more powerful than her what to do, just because her rider is squad leader. So, like, Sleeg gets offended when Ree makes Fierge ask if he's doing all right.
How he feels after that, yeah.
And he's offended. But Tairn doesn't really give a shit what Fierge says, does he?
No, not at all.
No. Aetrum. And Ree makes a comment that Aetrum is going to deviate as soon as he gets the chance. None of them really like to do what Ree tells them to do. The fact that we got called a call out to Aetrum wanting to deviate as soon as he gets the chance, I think that comes back to the fact that Aetrum is like pretty young, pretty ballsy, faster than a green fire wyvern, and will just do what he wants.
Yes. It could be that, because so far he's like one of the youngest dragons that we had in the squad, because the other one looks they're quite like maybe proper grown-ups dragons. And because they have maybe this, this energy, this youth and that kind of stuff. They're the
stupid.
one. Yeah. Like bold is I think the word.
Stupid, sorry, it's not the right word.
Yeah, they're not thinking about consequence. They're just strong and
Gryffindors.
Yes. And the king of the world, and then just go after everything. And we see something here, something like that, because Atron is the one who goes really close to a wyvern, and Ree is like freaking out, like, oh my god, he's gonna crush Riddle with against the wyvern. And then Riddle, he just extended the hand, and then we see that he touched, and then the wyvern stopped moving.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And just going straight way down and crack. It split into a crack in two.
Yeah.
And Ree like, oh my god, how you seeing that? Really surprised about it. You just see how Riddle,
he's not normal, is he? He's not a normal ice wielder.
No. The study he's doing now is just amazing. Now he's touching to do that. Maybe it will come a time that he just need to like point it out and then do it from the distance.
Yeah, might not even need to touch them.
Yeah.
He is basically like a venin when they drain the ground. Like sucks all the moisture out. Instead of the magic, he sucks the moisture out and freezes them.
Yeah. But even when Ree, she's still focused on the battle, she's still thinking about Violet, because she haven't seen Tairn coming back for her, and she's just wondering how long she can be there without Tairn. But she needs to be focused, and then she comes with another strategy. She said that they need to do the shield formation for the whole squad, because they are the stronger when they are together. And Fierce is like, are you sure you want to ask this?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the part for me that tells us. I've been starting to get a little bit obsessed with the timeline for the last few chapters, and there are some things happening in parallel. There are some things happening consecutively. So you have to be like really on the lookout for tiny little clues like this that show when things are happening. So this is the part that tells us that it's happening at the same time as Tairn is away from Violet. So Tairn has taken Tiny back to the top of the cliffs, and we can tell that this scene happens in the time that it takes Tairn to fly to Erasure. He's not coming back yet. We just need to remember that when we get back to Violet in the next chapter. That is probably the quickest run through of a chapter we have done for the first chapter on any episode ever. So I just want to do a quick recap of who is where in this chapter, because it all matters. So we have Ree, Maren, Kat, Neve, Bragan, Riddick, Sawyer. They're between the top of the cliffs and the bottom of the cliffs, protecting the civilians climbing the Madara Pass. It is taking place just in the period where Violet is on her own. So it happens at the same time as the next chapter.
Yes, there's with Violet this time.
Yes.
That is something really special about this episode, because at the very first time when we had the 3 chapters, and each chapter is with a different point of view. Next week, we're going to have some different point of views as well, but it's going to be with the main characters. But this one was perfect. We had this 3 point of view from these 3 women. There's given some clues about what's going on all around.
Yeah, and I really like the contrast between Fierge and Segale and Tairn and Glean, who is an orange dragon, and it is fascinating to get into the head of an orange dragon. She is chaos. Like, it says anyway, we'll get to it. But it says if chaos was a city, it'd be Drathus. If chaos was a dragon, it would be Glean. I really enjoyed being in the mind of a different part of it. I think I would have preferred to be in Riddick's POV.
Yeah.
In that
Atron.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the thing is, the challenge that Rebecca Yarros has got is that she had set Riddick up in this book to be the comic relief, although she was giving him like flashes of brilliance, like his freezing the orange peel and him in the woods when he found out that Xaden was a Venin. There's several parts, and the part even where he was saying, everyone thinks I'm a joke, but you're not safe when you're not with a member of the squad, and he was fighting to go with Quest Squad. So she gave him flashes of that brilliance, but it would have been difficult for Rebecca Yarros to tell this part of the story from his point of view. Also would have been good to have it from Sawyer's, his like first battle back. Yeah. And there could have been some good interaction between Sleeg and Sawyer, in that Sawyer might have been second guessing himself, or Sleeg might have been, and they were like helping each other through the first battle back after the injury. Be quite cool to get a Flyer's perspective at some point as well. What would it be like to be bonded to a Griffin?
Yeah, I think so far we haven't heard any Griffin talking, isn't it?
No.
So we don't know if they're going to be exactly with the same attitude of dragon, or maybe they're more kind, more,
Kira sounds a bit of a snoot. But anyway, what would you expect being bonded to Cat?
Yeah.
Memoirs of Luzbel. She loved him. She lost him. And he came back. But wasn't completely him. She feared him. She fought him. But she fell for him. Memoirs of Luzbel. Now available on Amazon.
Okay, chapter 62.
Epigraph.
There is no goddess more wrathful than Dune. Entering her temple will slice the soul from any attendant who has shunned her grace. Major Rorally's Guide to Appeasing the Gods, 2nd edition. I find it really interesting here how they use why they use the word soul. So it says it will slice the soul, which we know that this dagger is going to kill Theophany in not this chapter, but the one after Imogen's. We're led to believe that Theophany should have no soul, but the dagger does still. So the temple still slices her soul, or it just kills her. But I don't know. I thought the use of the word soul was quite interesting here. Also, that they use capital H for her.
Yeah,
and this isn't the only time they do that. They do that in the epigraph with the one that says, from one servant of Dune to another, I pray to her that she use this to not reacquaint herself with the other god. We'll get to it. The fact that they say her, do they say, like, if you talk about God, or do they say him with a capital H? Maybe they do. I don't
know. It's just the G. When you say
God.
God.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, like sign of respect.
Yeah. Also, this is some seriously powerful magic. So, a priestess who is no longer a priestess. She shuns the temple. She ignores the calling. She basically is done with Dune. Can step foot in a temple and it will slice the soul from this person and will kill them. That is insanely powerful. That's more powerful than anything we've seen, right?
Yeah.
So the power of the gods is real. We know that much. I wonder what the power of the other gods is. She's wrathful, though, it says.
I mean, I still have my questions about this because we know a lot about Dune and Loyal because the people, they get dedicated to them, they get like powers and that kind of stuff.
We don't know that. We don't know they get powers.
Well, not powers,
they
but
get silver hair.
Yeah, but I think because they are like servants directly from them, they come with the grace or the power from the gods. No, they're gonna be just, like throwing lightning, so that kind of stuff. But something directly from the gods. And I don't know if we're going to see something like that from the other ones as well, from Amari, from Malek.
So they don't require a lifetime of dedication, the other ones.
No.
But doesn't mean they don't do something.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. If you don't dedicate your life to receive like the gift from the gods, if anyone can just ask for something, just
like
because
Zinal just gives gifts out willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Zinal's my favourite.
Except before you get the arrow.
Well, it depends. That might be lucky. Could have been someone else. Traeger, if you asked Traeger, we found a way to ask Traeger, I bet he would be like, we are so lucky that didn't hit Cat. So lucky that Cat didn't get the arrow. Depends how you look at it.
Yeah, I guess that's a really good point of view.
It's a mindset. We've been through this, though. Several times. Our regular listeners will already know my feelings on luck.
Yes. Okay, let's get started with the chapter. And if you remember, we started the last point of view from Violet as with Theophany on top of her with a blade in the throat. We back to that scene when Violet, she's sure that her thing was doing the right thing, fighting against the wyverns, that she doesn't have to worry about them. And that's exactly what she says to Theophany, that she trusts her team is going to do the best job even after she is gone. So she says to Theophany that she will meet Malek with her whole soul. And Theophany starts to maybe like think about it because she is like putting pressure on Violet, like with a friend that she can finish everything and the friends can leave if she channel from the ground. Violet's not doing it. She lowers the blade a little bit, just enough for Violet to just hammer their head into Theophany's nose, and then she kicked her out. And Theophany just moved like 20 feet in 1 second.
Yeah.
She's like, shit.
You broke my nose. Empyrean riders pointed out that Theophany shrieks when her nose breaks.
Yes.
And she shouts, "That's never going to straighten out." She's obviously very vain as well. But the fact that she shouts that, they point out that it's like a parallel to back when Mira broke Brennan's nose.
Yes.
In Iron Flame, and says it's really hard to mend. Do you know how hard it is to mend myself? And they are calling possible Venin link on that to Brennan again.
I like it.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same, but obviously in this case there was no blood at all with Brennan. He bleed a lot.
Yeah.
So he's not he's not a sage or a maven, that for sure.
He's an initiate if he's anything, and he's not got.
It could be a wyvern. We talk about this wyvern bleed. So here you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tiffany, she is really angry about this, and even she says to Violet, "You really think they're gonna kill you just because you are the lightning wielder?" And then Violet, she's just like, "Well, you leave that really clear with that little comment of once every 100 years and that kind of stuff."
She gave the game away a bit, didn't she, by saying, "I will prove myself this time."
Yeah.
I only get a chance once every 100 years.
Yes. But Theophany, she's pretty much saying like, well, yeah, she was kind of special, but not that much since she lost the Irid. And it seems that Andarna is way more important for the Venin than even Violet. They were like chasing Violet first because she was a lightning wielder, but then when maybe they found out that the Irid was with her, the Irid was like priority one. They want her, Andarna.
Yeah, it feels like possibly the combination of an Irid and the lightning wielder, or the power wielder. They call it the lightning wielder, but might have been that catastrophic weapon last time.
Yeah, I still thinking that the only goal they have with Andarna is that she's maybe the key for the power from the sky. She's an Irid, so she had that direct connection the other dragon don't have. And the other areas that maybe they're unreachable. There has to be maybe an island very far away for the Venin to try to reach them because maybe they don't have enough to survive for their journey.
I feel like it's got something to do with the manipulating magic and the bending magic, because that's what they want.
Shape,
her
bend,
for.
and break.
Yeah, that's what they want it for, isn't it? But that will ultimately be their downfall, I believe, because I think cutting off the magic is a great way to stop Venin.
I mean, in the end, the Venin, the only thing they want is just power. So I don't know what else they can get from the Irids to get more power.
Yeah.
So Theophany changed the strategy in this case, and then what she's going to do is she start touching the floor and start just with like one finger, just threatening Violet. Yes, just like one finger, one dot, great dot on the floor. And basically what she's saying is, if you don't channel from the ground, because that's going to be the only way that you can escape from this, that you yourself take the magic from around you, so this doesn't come to you.
Yeah, it says that when the magic has been repurposed, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting.
Yes, it's an interesting word.
Yeah.
That's how she described that.
Where has it gone? Because it's like we're led to believe that it's drained from the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gone and you can't replace. I can't be replaced. Whereas actually what she's saying is that magic's been repurposed.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean it's repurposed, just used once as something else and then it's gone? Or is it going somewhere else?
No idea, because I was thinking that maybe they were just draining the magic, and then from that magic they're draining from the surface. They had to do something else with that. I don't know if they can just eat it or like they normally do with magic.
It's like a
or
fuel,
it's
isn't it? I guess like a fossil fuel, when you burn the fuel and it creates energy, and you've basically burned through the magic and you've created power.
Mm-hmm.
But once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
But the word repurposed feels a bit different to that.
Yeah. That is what she's going to do. And Violet is sort of freaking out. Even Satan can feel it through the bond. And here he's talking to her, like, Violet? And he was like, I'm okay, you focus on your stuff. And she can feel that he's tired. He can feel as well that he's been fighting. And I think maybe this is the last time that we see Satan as a human, because from this timeline that we're building here.
But he's already a Venin.
Yeah, but he's still 100% Satan at this point. He's not being called by his sage. He's still Satan. He's still in control. I think at this point he knows something's going on with Violet. Maybe he saw the feeling, and then he sends a girl like, go for her, because she's in trouble. Sagel goes, and then it's in that point when he feels the call from Berwin, when Satan is alone, when Sagel is not there anymore. So it's disconnected from the magic of the dragon, and then maybe Berwin start to call him, and then it's when he says in his point of view later on that he feels this call, that he can't resist, and he just go.
Yeah. I need to read that bit again. what jumped out at me in this part was, again, she was like she's trying to stall them, isn't she? She's got to just keep Theophany away. Well, she's got to kill Theophany, basically. But she said they just need time. And again, it's like a call for time. And it doesn't feel like that is what's happening, although it does to the reader, because we're living this kind of parallel timeline and we're all over the place at the same time. But also we do get Andarna coming back. So Andarna is on her way back at this point. We just don't know it yet. And we need more time. The kind of stalling just comes back to the fact that we do think that Violet still has some ability to manipulate time.
So like I said before, Violet's freaking out here because she knows that Theophany at this point she's just playing, because she can just say all the magic in one go and that she won't be able to even run. And she needs to think. She had just like a moment looking for Dratus just to see if maybe she can see like a blue dragon somewhere, but she can't see anything. She doesn't spend that much time looking, but Satan is not there. We know that Bodhi was like with him in some point, but he just disappeared as well.
Bodhi's AWOL.
Yeah, he's just a rock one. Like nobody wants him, so he just go to the next. But Theophany, she can feel that Violet is worried about Satan. And then she starts to say a couple of things that are like really interesting here, that she can feel that she's worried about Satan. And then she said, you can be forever with him. And then Violet said like, well, we are already in that. No, but not in the way that you want, because then when she said that our kind can love, and also we are like really good actors. So it's interesting because it's overly saying kind of like Satan has been lying to Violet, that he's been...
I don't buy it.
Yeah. That is something that she's trying to trigger to Violet. But I don't believe that Satan has been lying or anything. It's true that maybe she said that our kind can love, and that is something that Violet, she said, okay, that caught my attention, because she knows Satan's love me. And if I just say Venin can't love, then she knows there's something different.
It's a different type of Venin.
Yes.
I do think he can feel love. Some people think he only calls Violet love to remind himself that he does love her, though. Because he used to call her violence. He doesn't want to be reminded of violence. He wants to be reminded of what love feels like. And it's slipping away from him. So possibly it is. But also, we know that he's wanted to marry Violet for the whole book, basically. But it does feel like at the end, he doesn't marry her for love. He marries her. It says, do you think she will... Sigel says, do you think she will help? So he's marrying her for a reason, isn't he? Not just because he wants to.
Yeah, like the last act of love from him.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's the reason. I think he can still love.
Yes, I believe the same as well.
Whether it's because of Loyal, whether it's because he didn't steal the magic for power, whether it's a unique bonded connection between Violet and Xaden, there is something that is still allowing him to love her.
Yeah.
It's a romance book. Rebecca Yarros is not going to have a book where the main love interests don't actually love each other. Love is going to be the answer. It always is. It's always the answer to the riddle.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, Rebecca Yarros is just an author that is most of the work that she does is romance. So even when she goes enough for the fantasy, she's still like core.
Yeah.
Her signet is romance as an author.
Yeah. She's really powerful.
Yes. But Theophany is threatening Violet. She's saying, if you want to live, you have to do it yourself as well. Otherwise, you will die. So if you want to keep your life, you want to keep your love, and if you want to keep your dragon, you have to do it. And she said, if you want to keep your dragon as well, like once you're turning as a Venin, you had the option maybe that you want to cut the link with the bond with your dragon, or you can keep it. So I found that really curious as well. That maybe when you turn as a Venin, you have some options here.
You can choose, but then it would be like, does the dragon choose? Or do you choose? It feels like the dragon may not have a choice. Like Bade didn't have a choice. Bade had like opaque eyes.
Jack was manipulating Bade, so I don't know if once the rider turned into a Venin, if he's still in that bond, because Venin is powerful as well, then has an option to manipulate the dragon.
I'm still convinced that Varish was a Venin, and I'm convinced that Solus was also
He's been manipulated by Varish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Varish basically admitted it, although he would inflate the truth, wouldn't he, because of Varish. But anyway.
Yeah.
I think we also learn here that Venin can be drained as well.
Yes.
So the only way to stop it is to stand on ground that's already been drained or already had its magic repurposed.
Yeah. Here, what Violet is thinking that, okay, I need to find like a barrier, something that it doesn't have magic, something that acts as a protection for me. And then she starts running, and then she sees the wyverns. And she runs to one of these carcasses, and she starts to climb in one of them, and she starts using the daggers, climbing right to the top.
Like in the
gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
Yeah. It was doing like the same thing.
The right way isn't the only way.
Yes, and she learned that very well. And completely it works. Violet can see how this wave is just growing under the wyvern. And even Theophany see her like, oh my, are you a clever girl?
She is clever, actually.
Yeah, she does. But then at the same time, Theophany is saying no, because she sees that dragon coming right behind Violet. And the first thought is Tairn. But Sagel is like, not quite.
No. Oh, I love Sagel.
Yes.
And she says, you are an inconvenience for which there is no adequate measurement, but you have done an excellent job of keeping the maven occupied. She's like, I've got to insult you before I say something good. She's always like that.
Yes.
She's such a bitch.
But it doesn't last very long, and Sagel close, because she started to go to west. And Violet started freaking out, like, why are you going west? Satan is south, you have to go south, and you have to be with him. And Sagel like, yes, I know, that's why you stay here. Or
that's why I'm going west, because Tairn is coming from the west, so Sagel is just flying a little bit further to be like, she's your problem again now.
Yes. And literally, she just throwing at her.
Yeah. Catch.
Yep. Tairn catch. He was like really happy. Then in the end, she wasn't listening to him. She didn't stay when he asked to stay. And Violet then started to wonder, like, how is Tiny? He's fine. He's recovering. Thanks to Brianna. Mira, yeah, she will live. So all good. And now they're just going back to the fight.
Yeah, so I do want to just stop here and reiterate. West is the wrong direction. So Xaden is supposed to be in the south. So everyone's saying he's south with the officers.
Yes.
He's actually not, is he? He's in this canyon, wherever that is. But Sagale, so we don't know where Sagale ultimately ends up flying to, because we know he's not in the south with the officers. He might be south, but he is not where he's supposed to be right now. He's missing.
I think he is in the south, but not exactly in the location where he's supposed to be, because he goes to this canyon, but I think he's still like south. Violet is trying to see where Theophany is, because she disappeared. She can see the big circle when there's no magic anymore, when Theophany was. But then turns like look to the south.
South again.
Yes.
Everything's south.
And then it's when she see the somehow Theophany is already in this massive wyvern. is flying. And she said, oh my God, that is bigger than Codah, or looks bigger than Codah. And Tairn like, yes, because he is. He's going to be my fan skills to date.
Yeah, this feels like the conversation they had about whether Tairn would win the fight against Codah, doesn't it? Obviously, he doesn't get to fight this massive wyvern because when Theophany dies, the wyvern will die. But I do think that Tairn is going to have a fight with Codah.
Yes, we saw from Fodwin that this beef between these two, and Tairn, he's not afraid of Codah.
No.
He might feel respect because the elder is like something the dragon has to do, but not because he's bigger or more powerful.
Was it Iron Flame or Onyx Storm where they say something like, who would win? And Tairn goes quiet. But it feels like a foreshadow. Again, why link it to Codah?
Yeah, I think it was Arik, the one who asked Violet if Melgrin is coming with Codah, will Tairn be able to go against him?
And Tairn goes quiet.
Yeah.
I think he could take him if he was angry enough. Right. Yet another mention of Kaori. If Kaori and the others fail their orders, I thought at this point, before I read the next chapter, that Kaori was supposed to be going back to Navarre with Panchek. And we all know how that went.
Yeah.
But we thought they were going to get reinforcements from Navarre.
Yes, I didn't get that very well because he's doing exactly the same. He's just contending the wyverns, he's just fighting. What is exactly the strategic point that he's doing?
Yeah. I thought their orders were to go back and get reinforcements. And Panchek was going, and then Panchek went. But does seem like Kaori's fighting, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In the east.
Maybe he's creating like a massive, I don't know, illusion that there's a full army coming against the wyvern, or the wyvern are fighting against a ghost army or something.
I don't trust him. I think he's doing the opposite.
Just bringing more wyverns or more venin.
Maybe there aren't as many wyvern, but he's just making some illusions of wyvern to put people off. Do we know what he's actually doing? We know he knows Drathus well. What would you need? He could do he could project loads of wyvern.
Well, Baylor, I think at some point said there's like 100 wyverns.
Yeah, exactly. Are there really? Or is Kaori projecting some of them just to distract people?
Yeah.
I don't trust that man. Can we get through a whole episode without me going off on one about Kaori? Probably not. When we start the Quicksilver episodes, I'm still going to be going off about Kaori.
You remind me, Kaori.
Actually, oh no, I can't say that because it's probably a spoiler. Read Quicksilver, everyone, so I can start talking openly about Quicksilver.
About Kaori.
About Kingfisher and what he can do.
Talking about Shadow Daddies, isn't it?
It's not even that, actually. You have to read the Kingfisher POV chapters. And you haven't read those yet?
No.
I can't believe you haven't read those yet. Go and read them. Right. We're not ready to talk about Quicksilver yet, even though I am busting at the seams to talk about Quicksilver.
Couple of weeks for that.
I know. Right. Back to Kaori. No, I don't trust him. I think he's doing something weird. Anyway, move on. So Violet tells Tairn, this is Violet being the commander of the sky. It's not Tairn. This is Violet telling Tairn to tell the whole of the Southern Riot, I think actually everyone, to hold back and only cover the air over Drathus. That's because she's going to start zapping wyvern outside the walls, and she doesn't want to risk hitting them. There's 12 officers in the south, which is quite a lot. Xaden isn't with them.
Yeah.
So this is, again, another confirmation that he's not where he's supposed to be. And then a tornado appears to the north of the field where she fought Theophany. This is where we get the kind of confirmation that, this is the start of the tornado. And the tornado makes an appearance in the rest of the subsequent chapters, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But we've established that this chapter and the one before happened at the same time. We're now caught up because Tairn is back. So we're now a little bit further on than Rhee saw.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just trying to keep track of where we are on the timeline. I'm not making much sense, but it makes perfect sense to me now. There's a tornado in the north of the field in the west. The north of the west field.
Yes. And like you say, now Violet, she's going to have in consideration cards lessons and start go for volume instead for precision.
Yeah.
And start like a cowboy just lining everywhere just to see why it falls.
Yeah. Pew, 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 pew.
It's more like choo, 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 choo.
Yeah.
Special effects, you say. But Tairn is like really happy, like 6, 7, 4. Just counting how many she's killing at the same time. And what she's still just charging with more lightning, she's still looking for Satan around. And she sees a blue dragon, but it's not Sagel, it's Molby that arrives with Arik. And then it's Tairn, the one who says to Violet that yeah, the spare one has come back after he went for the 1,000 soldiers. They're coming from Selnia. Because they're supposed to arrive in Corden, but they, by mistake, they went to Sudra, yes.
Which again, also in the south. That is on the page confirmation that Auric was flying, when he was seen flying south, he was flying to that port because he saw in his precog that this army would go to the wrong port. So he knew somebody needed to go there to meet them, to tell them where to go.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about why on earth they went to the wrong port. I don't think they did. I think they did something on the way.
I'm not sure if they're just useless or it's just because they've not been in the continent for such a long time. They just having like map from 400 years ago.
I don't know why, but I feel like it. Well, I do know why, because Zanal is supposed to be with them. I think it was a lucky accident. I think they might have made the accident and gone to the wrong port, but actually they would have found something good, or it would have been a good thing that they went there because of Zanal. You got to remember the god of luck has a big part to play. God magic is powerful. Why on earth? It would be very unlucky, wouldn't it, quote unquote, for the God of Luck's army to end up at the wrong port by accident. It feels a little bit too coincidental and it would be terrible luck. But actually it might be a good thing again. And this is just me being with the warped view of luck. But what could have happened that was a positive of them arriving at the wrong port?
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking right now, is it possible that maybe this is a clue about maybe geography or history on Navarro, the continent, because they're supposed to go to Corden, but they arrive to Sudra. So it's possible that maybe for the people from Selnia, that is the Corden from 400 years ago. And now it's been moved.
Like moved.
To where Stekaros lives.
Yeah. I can't place it. Can't place Sudra. But we do know that it takes Auric that amount of time, and that's not very long.
No, and they will arrive in half an hour after.
Yeah, it's not far away, is it? So, because I was first thinking it could be in the Barrens, and they've gone to the Barrens by mistake, which is like with air quotes again. But it's not marked on the map, and I wonder if it's just possibly on the other side to Corden. It could be between Tirandor and Corden, and it was actually a closer port than it would have been to Corden, because Corden takes a long time to fly to, doesn't it? It's not like 12-hour flight.
Yeah.
So maybe they arrived closer to the cliffs of Draylor, but there was no one there to meet them at the port because no one was expecting them. But actually it was a happy accident because it was closer to where they were supposed to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel like Zanal was with them and they went to the wrong port for a reason. And that could be that it's just a bit closer, or it could be that they were going to find something there that they wouldn't have found at the other port, or something else. Something good has to have happened, because I'm convinced Zanal is with his army.
Probably we'll find out in the next book, because obviously by the end of this book, the fight basically is finished. They didn't arrive because Satan wipes everything. So there's no reason for them to just go there.
There'll definitely be a reason, because we've got Berwyn, we've got Venin, Zayden. There's definitely
Plus, obviously, all the elders killed by the end, the Dragon Eggs.
Also, are they there to support Tyrrendor, or are they to support Navarre? Because we might have a situation where we don't know if Bodhi is going to take the throne, or whether Violet has to, or whether the king will put his own person in, as Imogen says in the next chapter. So there's a big political situation between Navarre and Tyrrendor that's just completely unresolved in Onyx Storm.
Yeah.
Fascinating that they arrived at the wrong port, because I think this does, and I know that we have a few people, particularly Garnet, one of our listeners really thinks that it's Auric. I think that Auric flying south is not suspicious at all, because we get the resolution of the fact that he's gone to collect them. But where he goes after this is a different question.
Because after this, we don't know anything about him, and he's still playing a really important role about what Violet has to do. Because at this point, even when Auric's about to the fight, she's still not getting that he knew that he has to go there, or how he knew they went to the wrong port.
Yeah.
There's nothing about it.
Yeah.
But Violet is still looking around, and then sees as well the cure is in trouble. She sees as well the Imogen is going to the rescue. And Tairn says to Violet that she needs to focus. She needs to choose just one objective. She said, choose our fate. And then she said, okay, I'm just going to start to delegate then. So Imogen, she can rescue Bodhi. Let's go for Theophany. And that is Violet's goal.
Yeah, and we'll just kill some more wyvern on the way, is what Tairn says. So Cure disappears into the fray above the city. Why? It feels like, is that because the wyvern are chasing him? He's got quite a lot of wyvern on him.
Yeah, I think there's 3 wyverns chasing.
Okay.
Yes.
Glenn flies after him despite the order to shelter, because there's a hurricane coming from the north of the West Field. Keeping up? Everybody keeping up? Right, so that's the end of that, the next chapter. So again, I want to do another recap of where everyone is. Okay. So Rhee and the squad are at the pass, with the exception of Violet and Imogen and Quinn.
Yes.
Violet is west of Drathus with Theophany until she heads south. Theophany's headed south. Zayden is supposed to be south of Drathus, but he's not.
He's missing at this point.
Imogen and Dane are high over the northern wall of the city, and Kur is just under them.
Yes.
This is just before they go up. 12 officers are to the south. There's no blues with them, but Auric has flown back. All the other dragons appear to shelter within the city from the tornado. So they go to ground. Kur and Glen do not. That is where we are.
Yes. Clear so far, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay. Chapter 63.
Epigraph. Fuck you. My daughter and I will meet Malak with clean consciences. Will you and your daughters be able to say the same when they come for you? The last words of Trasilla Cardulo, redacted.
Anything to say about this?
Yeah, so much. What better way to start Imogen's chapter than with
fuck you.
The last, the last words of her mother. I wonder what was redacted though. It's obvious she's talking to Lilith, right?
That's what I think. And what I think is maybe Lily was trying to tell to Drusilla that you need to maybe surrender, you need to leave, Venin are coming, or this is happening. So I was thinking that maybe it's trying to maybe evacuate these people. And they would say like, no, we're not coward, we're not hiding in your world, we're fighting, we're not doing that. And I think that's kind of like some messages
you mean she was
coming.
trying to convince them?
Lily trying to convince them to leave the place or surrender or just not fight. But then they said that no, that we are fighting, that we're not hiding. We are not like...
Yeah, okay, yeah, I get that now. I pulled a face because I was like, I don't think Lilith would try and get them to back down. But yeah, she probably would. It does feel like a conversation between Lilith and... Lilith possibly did want to be like, I know about it. I'm fighting I'm trying to do the right thing. But actually, she couldn't say anything.
Yes. So that's one thing, that she was trying to do the right thing, but maybe was looking wrong. And then obviously Imogen's mother didn't buy it.
Yeah.
And then says, fuck you.
I still think Lilith made some really questionable life choices. We have to wait until we get more information from her journals about what on earth she was doing, because at the moment I still think Lilith was a little bit of shit.
At the moment, I still think she's alive. So.
Oh my god! I say that. I know.
My Lilith is Venin still alive.
So I know. I shouldn't laugh because mine is way more ridiculous. Neil and his Malik is definitely a vibe. So this chapter follows directly on from Violet's POV. We know that because we pick up with Imogen in the chase where she's following Codah. So yes. I'm probably butchering that name. We also get inside not only Imogen's head, but also an orange dragon. And I think it's interesting, this bit, because there was always some skepticism, wasn't there, about whether all orange dragons were bad and whether we could trust Imogen because she had an orange dragon and we shouldn't be able to trust her and things. I think we get a classic orange dragon here. She wants all the wyvern. She's like looking that way. She's looking this way. She's like a bit twitchy, isn't she?
Hyperactive.
Yeah, she's kind of a bit all over the place and chaotic. She's like, if I was a dragon, I would be... What on earth is her name? Glean. See, that's me. This is me. What? That was just a classic example. I can't remember.
All over the place as well.
So I'm just a bit distracted by everything. But yeah, I loved being in it. Well, I hated it because it's heartbreaking, this chapter.
Yeah.
But I also loved getting to know what an orange dragon is like that isn't bayed or soulless.
Yeah.
Or is Marb orange?
Yes. Orange.
Yeah, I still don't know how to feel about Marb. Anyway.
Yes, I really like Glean as well. And I think she was kind of like the only one who was saying actually that I didn't born to a winner or something like that. So like,
a whiner.
A whiner. A winner.
A wiener is a sausage.
Well, she didn't born a winner. That's for sure. It was a rider. So
Oh my goodness, it's so funny.
So yeah, she didn't born a whiner, so that's good. Why are you laughing?
Why am I laughing? Oh, sorry. Continue.
Okay, let's carry on with the chapter. So we started with Imogen paying attention all around. She see that Kratos is just chaotic. The house is on fire. There's a tornado on the background. Bodhi is in trouble. And then she said, I'm not losing Bodhi. Don't know what the fuck is Ryerson doing because it's been more than 20 minutes and he's lost. Bodhi has to be safe because I don't want, if something happened to Bodhi, other one, the King Taori put another
Lowarian
from them.
aristocrat.
Yes.
Who would he choose?
He knows already that with Llewellyn and Lindell is not something that he can trust. So probably it's going to be somebody closer. So with other provinces,
Moraine.
they can share or himself because they are the one that are like
I
really
wondered
close.
if he might put Holden in, or would that be really weird? And then he would think he had Auric for Coldea. I wonder, maybe Auric.
Tairn is like the biggest province, isn't it?
Yeah.
So probably will put Holden as
Yeah,
prince
I don't know.
next in line.
I do wonder if it's foreshadowing though. So let's just say, which I'm not convinced now. Let's say Bodhi is otherwise occupied at the beginning of the 4th book. Is Violet enough? Is marriage enough in this world? I'd like to think it is. It isn't in our real life. Normally the dukedom passes down the male line, and then the spouse. I mean, it could be they've changed it for princesses, that the princess, regardless of whether the oldest is a prince or a princess, the princess could become queen now. Previously, it wasn't that. Just like Princess Anne, the Queen's eldest child was a girl, but the King Charles is the king. Would Violet be enough? Or would he put somebody else in? Imogen also notices the tornado at the end of the northern field. So we are getting a continuation of this tornado.
Also, she sees when Violet is killing all this wyvern, and she's really impressed with all the wyvern that she just killed and just a few
You would be,
seconds.
wouldn't you? It's like raining wyvern. It's raining wyvern.
Hallelujah. Also here, when she is wondering where Satan is, they haven't seen a shadow in the last 20 minutes. And like I said before, I think here is the moment when Sagael had been go to rescue Violet, and Satan is just attending to that call from Berwin. So maybe right now at this point, Satan is getting close to Berwin, and Sagael is just going to find Satan.
Yeah, he does say he's got ways of making him come, hasn't he? So, yeah.
Yes.
Imogen, though, is giving him the benefit of the doubt, and she's saying he'd better be helping in the northeastern tower, which is where Quinn is.
Obviously, she knows Satan. She knows that Satan always is doing the right thing. And probably at this point, after so many days that he's not been channeled, he's been fine. She's still thinking that he's in control. She put all the attention is in Bodhi and obviously in Kur as well. And Kur is wounded. Imogen said that he has a deep bleeding for a cutting diagonally across his chest. And at this point, we don't know how bad is this. It looks like something really bad. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's been fighting with these 3 wyvern. I think in some point, one of the wyvern is shooting fire. Even Bodhi was like really close to catch fire as well.
Also, like, I don't know whether if your dragon was severely wounded, would that make you sick? Because we know that shortly he's going to be like retching in the town hall. Sorry, the town square.
Yeah, that's something that I was thinking. That I don't know if it's the feeling because maybe your dragon is dying, or just because the dragon has died, and then there's just only one way to save your life, and that solution is what makes you feel sick.
Yeah, we don't have that much time. The only thing I have to keep coming back to is I don't think after like reading and rereading these chapters, I just don't see how Bodhi gets time to get from the town square to the canyon. He should already be there. But the same with Garrick, but Garrick at least has a power to be able to do it.
Mm.
And yeah, I didn't see any other, because I feel like I know Bodhi so well, and that Bodhi would do it. But there's still a chance that I could be getting my timeline knickers in a twist. But yeah, I'm starting to think that I don't understand how Bodhi can be in two places at once. But anyway, yeah, I feel like the only other example of this we've got is Liam. And Liam didn't get sick. Liam just like got
Still
weak,
dying,
didn't he? He couldn't move, he couldn't speak very well. But I don't know if Kur isn't necessarily dead. Kur just could be like severely injured, and that is making Bodhi feel really sick.
At this point, Glenn is helping, so she goes against one of the wyverns and kills the wyvern. And just when that happens, another wyvern appears right in front of them. And Imogen, she can feel this fetid, dripping teeth.
Bad breath.
So another reference that wyvern have bad breath. And we know how we feel with probably one of the only dragons that we know have bad breath.
Yeah, but I've not, like, Kath has not done anything bad in this book, has she? He. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, we know that he has a lot of power. So, have bad breath, had a lot of power. He channels a lot of power into Dane's body. So, we don't know what else could do like a dragon that's turned Venin. Because it's not like the dragon is a wyvern. It's a dragon that's turned into a Venin, or is doing something that's linked to the Venin.
We don't know, but I do still. I do love to hate Kath.
Yeah, so I give you that.
There was so much in Iron Flame.
Yeah.
But we didn't get any resolution of that in Onyx Storm. So I'm going to continue with my suspicions that Kath is bad and Dane will kill Kath, and it will all be a great self-sacrifice to save Xaden.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still stick with that, although I don't feel like we've had a lot of evidence added to the pile in Onyx Storm.
Not yet. And this scene, I think, is the last time that we see Kur, because we know that he has a really bad injury and damage in the chest. Also, he has a hole in the wing. And when Imogen said that he's like flying down, she can't see if her body is wounded as well. We know the dragon is really bad, but we don't know what kind of condition is body at this point. But definitely, this is the last time that we secured. And after this, we see body is underground without the dragon.
Yeah.
So what happened to Kur?
I know. I like everything points to it being Bodhi. Everything points to him needing to channel or choosing to channel. The wedding, the like need. You saw what happened. It's the only way. All of this stuff. The one thing that does not stack up is how these chapters are running in parallel, and how Bodhi is still in the town square. That is the only thing. Everything else points to it really obviously being Bodhi. This is the one thing I can't get my head around. And I'm going to spend the next year, 2 years, however long it takes, trying to get my head around it. So don't worry, we will figure it out. But I
still think in this chapter when Imogen finished, that she's looking to the sky, it's not exactly the same point when Xaden is watching Imogen. I think this is happened after. So there's a gap.
The last sentence of this chapter is the sky darkens, and that's got to be his wave coming. He goes past her, he goes past Dane, he goes, and it literally says past Imogen looking at the sky, and she is looking at the sky. She's reeling off all the things she can see in the sky, and then she says the sky darkens, as if like the shadows,
the mushroom,
the giant mushroom cloud of doom is coming. It's got to be all parallel. There has to be something that means either Bodhi isn't where she thinks he is, it's somebody else, but the only other person he could be mistaken for would be Xaden, and he's not there. Or Kaori's doing some like bonkers illusion.
Yeah, Bodhi.
That Bodhi's there retching on the ground when he's not. Or he is somehow in two places at once. It doesn't stack up yet. And I've read it so many times, it doesn't stack up.
We don't know Bodhi's second signet.
Ooh!
What could be for him to be
Quinn.
in two places at the same time?
Same as Quinn.
Do you think that maybe once Quinn die? No, it could be.
Are we just trying to make him be the brother when he's actually not and it's Garrick?
No, but Garrick is in the same situation as Bodhi at this point. We need to go first that.
Yeah.
And then we see where it is.
You're right. Because you'd only just be a split second away.
He doesn't have red eyes, but the last time that we see him. So if it's Gary, we're talking about that he's leaving Imogen when he's still human, and he jumped straight away to see Satan.
And there's still a gap because he should have been there all along.
Yeah. Satan is watching this guy when they're killing Punch's dragon, when they try to kill. So he's been already a few minutes there. So there's no time for Garrick to jump and go there.
So
because he should be dead
So
before.
what you're saying is Bodhi's second signet is some kind of form of astral projection.
Either
and that's the only way he can be in two places at once.
Yes.
We are determined for Bodhi to be
Bodhi.
the bad guy. We've not trusted this boy.
Satan says to Sagai, you saw what happened. What's
I know.
reaching on the floor?
I like it. That's the only way it stacks up. And then it would be 100% back again. I like it.
It's a couple of things that is not clear about Bodhi. What is good after that? Why he is in the middle of this town square when the dragon is really bad injured? Why he is not with the dragon? And in the end, Satan says to Sagai, look, you saw what happened, and he need to marry to Violet.
Yeah, it has to be Bodhi, doesn't it? But then you're right. Bodhi's second signet has to be something to allow him to be in two places at once.
Yeah, maybe that's a signet. He could literally be in two places at the same time.
Well, Quinn can.
Well, no, that was a projection.
Astral projection, yeah.
So
but she was very good at it. Just like, I guess...
It's kind of like Kaori, isn't it? So the body is one place and then you just go to somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. What about... anyway, let's carry on because we've got so much to talk about in this chapter. It's so good. This might be my favourite worst chapter of the book.
Yes. And another thing is that Imogen sees as well, when she's having a look while it's in the ground, she sees that yes, some dragons and riders are on the floor injured, and she sees a brown dragon without tail, and it's with a really bad injured. She said it looks like there's something fatal.
Yeah.
Garrick has a brown dragon. I don't think it's this
she would have said.
Yes, I think it has to be somebody from Arabia, somebody that they
she would have been mortified. She would have been like, "Where's Garrick? Like, what's going on?"
Well, the dragon don't have a tail, so Garrick has a scorpion tail, I think. But Glenn will recognize that it was...
Well, Imogen would. She's in love with Garrick.
Yeah.
She would be, like, terrified of him.
No, I definitely think there's somebody from Arabia because they see the dragon and like they don't give a shit because they're like, well,
they were
it's not from our
squad
or army or whatever.
Riddick also has a brown dragon, and the fact that Rhee says, "I know Atrum's going to break away any second now." It's like I think we were supposed to think, "Oh, it could be Riddick's," because Atrum was ready to just leave that place and come, and he was staring over the hills. He wanted to be in Drathus. He was worried for Violet. He's been her bodyguard. He's been her Liam for this book. So I think we were supposed to worry that it could be Atrum. But again, I just think he's in the squad. She would have recognized the dragon.
Yeah, exactly. There will be definitely a comment about it. The other dragon that we know and is from Eurasia is from Suri, but I think Suri, she's
Where's she?
not even fighting here.
She's like on the other side of
Yeah,
Tyrrendor, lining up against Holden, isn't she?
So I think it's just definitely like a red herring.
Random. It's the same with the green one in Iron Flame.
Yeah.
Remember there was a green one and we were like, is it Panchek? Yeah, it wasn't Panchek's dragon. I'm going to go out on a limb and agree with you and say it's just a sign of how bad the scene is and how that some dragons are not making it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not one of our dragons.
Yeah. Then what they see is there's another Venin. They're going there into the tower when there's an operation happening and Queen is there and her dragon as well. So they start to say, Imogen start to think, oh shit, they know what we're doing there. So that has to be some internal information. They're going to the Venin. So I was just thinking, it's obvious it's just Panchek or could be somebody else from Eurasia because this operation is done from Ryerson House, from the people from Eurasia. Panchek, I'm not sure if he was, like on all the conversations, all the...
Do you know who was?
Kaori.
Kaori was. And he had the map. And he's in the east. He's in the same place. He's in the right place.
Yeah.
100% Kaori. He was in there. He was in the room with Brennan and Garrick and Xaden and Violet when they were planning this whole thing.
Yeah.
He had the projection of the map. He was listening to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's true. Even when Xaden was trying to talk privately with Gary, Kaori was like really focused and everything was going on. Dratus and the projection.
Yeah, he was really focused on his projection.
Yeah.
And listening to all the intelligence that... it was Kaori. I think Kaori is far more dangerous than Panchek.
Yeah, Panchek wasn't there. He was, I think, at that point, he was trying to talk with Melgrin or...
Apparently. Yeah. He was heading for the canyon. That's where he was going.
Yeah.
So I think what was happening is the weapons were delivered there and Quinn is protecting them. Her mission is to protect the weapons.
Yeah.
All of the weapons are in the northeastern tower, but there aren't enough.
Mm-hmm.
They've had 2 cases and 2 cases just aren't enough. Garrick is bringing them from where Felix is imbuing them. So Felix is doing this in real time. Felix is with Trissa in this other random place where we don't know where they are, but we know they're not far away. We know they're close to a town square.
They're very close because when Imogen is leaving this place, when Felix and Trissa are, she can see Kruth is attacking a wyvern. And Kruth was with Queen in this tower, so they're really close.
Yeah, I don't think they would be that far away but they are using Garrick, so it's far enough away not to like run them along the ground because Garrick does seem to be doing stuff. But then he goes he can see that the Venin are draining the walls.
Yeah.
On the east, Kaori.
Mm-hmm.
They are draining the walls on the east, so Garrick goes to get Quinn.
Yeah, so Imogen goes straight away to this tower and help Quinn. She arrives, then Atos arrives as well, pretty much at the same time, and then it looks like really rough as well. I think she said half of the face is like covered in blood.
Yeah.
And they had a Venin that's like right in front, and the Venin attacked them with fire. Then has a shield, so Imogen takes the shield and she's like thinking like other options, but she knows that there's only one option. Even Glenn said that you're not gonna die, you're not gonna get burned, so it's telling you had to do your other thing. And what she does is that she turns the shield and stone, and then the fire just goes around. When the fire stops, then straight away appears, he jumps and throw the daggers to the Venin and kill the Venin. And then he's surprised about this as well. Okay, let's go for the other ones, but later on we need to talk about what just happened there.
Yeah. And we know this is an incredibly powerful signet, don't we? And we know that there hasn't been one in recorded history.
Yes.
Which is in recorded history, not just in the last 100 years. So either they are so powerful that they have wiped them from the history books, which, I mean, like, let's face it, that's not completely unexpected from the Kingdom of Navarre, or there just hasn't been one in 600 years.
I start to think the first six, they had different sickness. They were exactly the same ones that we had now.
Yeah.
So there might be a lightning wielder because like lightning wielders every 100 years, according with Theophany.
This is a power wielder.
There will be a shadow wielders as well, because even Violet, the first time when he saw Satan's power, he said that they're really rare.
Yeah.
So it's not something like never seen before. But I think there's a comment when somebody's saying about, I think it was Sawyer, that I don't know any earth wielders or some wielders when they're talking about the words. So it was kind of like something that never happened before.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it probably did, like the first six. Possibly.
But if one of the first six had that one, it won't be like a strange signet. It's just something that is not common.
Yeah, and it would be in the recorded history, wouldn't it?
So that's why I'm thinking that maybe some of the signet they were here, but maybe like Imogen is something new.
Is it because you can like directly wield the magic from the earth? You can do something to do with the earth and this, because it's an earth and stone, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I don't know. This is the thing. Like water, fire, air, really common. Earth, not.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if maybe with this signet, she will be able to maybe cut off the magic or the venom, because they channel it from the ground. But if she's controlling the ground,
like turn it to stone.
Yeah.
Like Medusa.
It seems like she has to touch it to turn it. It's like a nice wielder, but with stone.
Yeah. Not expecting it, because she's also really fast.
Yes.
And I thought her second signet would
and can wipe memories.
Well, yeah, but I thought her second signet was like to do with the speed thing, because the first signet is the wiping memories.
Yeah.
But why is she keeping... She must have manifested the memory one first, because that would be a better one to be classified, surely.
Yeah.
Like turning stuff to stone is cool, but I just don't understand the extent of what it's going to do yet.
Yeah.
Do you know what? This is just a random thought, but we still don't know why Heaton can breathe underwater.
Yeah, completely wrong.
Where is Heaton right now?
I think
He's still guarding Jack.
Yes, not very good because...
No, because Garrick, he would have let him. They're mates, aren't they?
Yeah.
Heaton and Emery would have just let Garrick take him. That makes sense now.
Yeah. But the thing that is really curious is that Garrick and Imogen, they're really weird, unique signet as the second one, the one that comes from part of the family. Satan, the first one was the shadows, and the intensec is the second one that's coming from the family. So I find that a little bit strange. It's like if the second one is a gift from the parents, or well, not parents, the family.
No.
I know there's reacting with, chemical of the dragon, the magic, that kind of stuff.
Well, we don't know. This could just be a gift, couldn't it? But I don't think it's nothing to do with the family. It's just that the fact that if a dragon bonds a direct relative, then you will get a second signet.
Yeah, and we know that dragons, they did that on purpose, looking for that second signet.
Army.
Yes. So that's why I thought that...
Which makes sense.
With this too.
Do you think any of them actually do go mad? You know how there's this big rumour that you either develop a second signet or you go mad. Do you think any of them actually do?
I don't know if we ever going to see this situation.
No.
Then one of them who just go
mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, learning a bit about Imogen, not to do with the... It's not at all to do with the progress of the chapter or anything. I just thought it was a nice thing to learn about Imogen. If anybody's doing any Empyrean trivia, it could be a good quiz question. Imogen's safe place is her childhood home. So that's where she's grounding. So she opens the door to her childhood home, which, again, it's just really painful, isn't it? She has no family left. Don't know what happened to her dad, but she had a mum and a sister who were killed, presumably by Melgren, by Codah.
Talking about sad things.
Oh my gosh. I knew this was coming and it still tore my heart out.
I didn't have a clue that this was coming, because obviously what we see is the queen is doing something really good. There's just kind of like making the Venin look to everywhere, projecting multiple times. So the Venin has no clue where she actually is, where she's just getting close from the back. Imogen can see all of this, and then Imogen just throw a dagger at the same time the queen does. The Venin just turn around, but by the time it does, boom.
And she's like, got him! She's celebrating.
Yes, and then the Venin falls, and when the Venin falls, Imogen is jumping to go to see Queen, and Queen turn around, and then she had these impossible wide eyes. That's how Imogen described that. And she is holding a dagger in the chest, and then she know the Venin got her. Queen is going down. Imogen just go to catch her, and then they start had this moment. Obviously, Queen knows that she's going to die, but she cares right now is about the people who she was protecting. It was the mother and the children. And Imogen said that, yeah, they're fine. You did it. You did great. The other thing that it caught my attention here is that when she's looking around, the colors start to it's like being drained. So the walls all around is drained. And I just wonder how, why, because we don't know anything about Dane at this point either. So
she said the colour disappears from the stones in the bend beneath us as so gradually that I can't help but wonder if Quinn simply took the colour with her.
Yeah.
Which is really sad, but it also feels like a distraction. Like, is it to do with the walls being drained, the colour being drained? Because that's what Garrick comes to say. Is it something to do with Dane? I don't think Dane is channeling here.
Yeah.
But it is hidden in there, isn't it? The colour's draining. It's not by accident, because colour's draining is a Venin thing. Yeah. Where is Dane?
We know it's not going to be the last time that we see him here, but he was chasing another Venin. And then when Imogen is saying that the colors are being like loosened, and she even thinking that maybe it's Queen that's taking it with her. I remember the very first time for me, like, oh, she's doing Venom or something. I wasn't completely sure if it was just something like figurative or something they want to just put in like a nice touch, something like a romantic scene description. But then Garrick arrives, and then he's saying that the Venom are like draining the place or something like this.
Yeah.
And I still wonder where is Dane?
Yeah, where is Dane? Which way did he run? They were there.
Yeah.
And then was he fighting another Venin? And Imogen runs in for Quinn, and Dane's still fighting, because he's then later just like backed up against the wall, isn't he?
With the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the interesting bit for me was that Imogen says to herself, there are no menders here, no runes for this. Why does she mention runes in this part? And is this confirmation that Brennan's rune is what keeps him alive? There is a rune for this. And had Naelin been there, or had Brennan been there, they wouldn't do it, because Brennan can't tell anyone. If he admits that there's a rune that's going to keep these people alive, he has to essentially admit that he's not alive, or he's a reanimated corpse, for want of a better word. So I feel like this is there for a reason, and I think this might be a hint on Brennan's rune.
Yeah, I found it strange, but I didn't know how to take it. Like, if maybe it's like a rune that you can put there and then stop maybe the blood, kind of like...
No, he would have done that for Mira. I think it's like bringing somebody back from the dead.
Yeah.
I'm going to read some of this scene because I just feel like she deserves the honor. This was a really, really difficult thing to read. And every time I have read it, I have cried.
Okay.
I'm not going to now. I'm going to be really brave. I'm going to try.
Okay, serious moment now.
Yeah. I'm glad it's you with me. Parapet to Malik's own doorstep. I'm so sorry I have to go first this time. And you should tell him, Jen. Tell him, and you find some happy. She's talking about Garrett. She says, I'm scared. I don't want to be scared. I shake my head and force a smile. My mum will take care of you, and Katrina too. My mouth quivers. She's a little bossy, but she'll be thrilled to have another little sister. I talk about you all the time. They'll know who you are. Don't be scared. Her next breath is strained and watery. They'll know me. I nod. They'll know you, and they'll love you. It's impossible not to love you. Imogen, she whispers, and her eyes flutter shut. I'm right here, I promise. But I can't force the words any louder as my throat closes. We made it a good one. She falls limp, and when I lift my shaking fingers to her throat, there's no pulse. She's gone. Oh my God, it's horrible.
You did well.
I did not think that Quinn's death would affect me like this. I mean, Liam, you know...
You want to really, like, invest in the character.
Yeah. Quinn, like, we know that she's Imogen's best friend, and we know that she was a bit helpful in this book. But she's never been one of the group that you would, like, be... You would think you would be hard. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but if someone's got to go, yeah, we'll take Quinn. It just shows the power of a point of view, doesn't it? Because I was spoiled on Quinn's death, and I was like, oh, it's fine. I'll be able to cope with that. Reading it from Imogen's point of view, because at the time I didn't know we were going to get it from Imogen's point of view, the way that Rebecca Yarros has written this, just like get the readers to feel all this when we've not been in Imogen's point of view before this moment. We've not seen their friendship before this moment. It's just so clever and awful.
Well, yes, because you are not reading about Queen's dying. You're reading about why Imogen is losing.
Yeah.
And that's the part that just get you, because it's like she lost her mom, she lost her little sister.
But they're all going to be together.
Queen is the only one that she loves now, like openly. She said that she loves her, and now she's losing her too.
Ugh. And the we made it a good one came from the first time they met, so we get a flashback.
Yeah, before they crossed the parapet.
Yeah.
And so it was, 2 or 3 years friendship, basically.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, like, it may be a short friendship. Well, like, I've decided we're going to be friends. And she said it may be a short friendship, but we'll make it a good one.
Yeah.
And that was her last words. Oh my gosh, it's so harrowing. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I think I find this harder than Liam.
Really? No, for me, Liam was just
Maybe
horrible.
I've just had so much longer to get used to it. I probably didn't. I haven't read it for a while. I'll read it this week, and then I'll be like, no, I take it back. I didn't find it harder.
Yeah. I'm reading the Spanish version. I wonder if it's going to get me the same, because obviously translation and that kind of stuff is different.
I might. Oh, I'll have to read it. There's a death in every book that makes me cry, of Rebecca Yarros. Like, I don't think there's been one book where I haven't cried. But the death in Iron Flame, Lilith, I wasn't expecting to feel so feely about that one either, and I did. It's definitely the Least worst, though. Quinn was bad. It was really bad.
Yes. And it's just in this moment when Garrick appears, and when he sees that, he says, "Oh fuck, Imogen, I'm really sorry." But then they're in danger. They need to go. Imogen is saying that she's not leaving Queen there. She's not leaving without her. And Gary said, "Okay, let's go all together then." He takes her, and then one step. And Imogen, I think she said it's like a flash and like a hit, and boom, they are in somewhere else. And here's when they arrive to this building, when Teresa, Felix are just preparing weapons, and they say that that's gonna be maybe the only shot that they have. Gary says that no, there's just not gonna be enough, and he's just really tired. He still had those hazel eyes that Imogen says, so he's not Venin at this point. But then he just started to say like, I can't. He doesn't even finish. He just started walking away, and Imogen follows. You know, where you going? Well, I can't walk anymore, but I need to find a way to do something. And he just leaves. And here's when we have Imogen. That she is looking everything around. So she sees Croft going, catching the wyvern, maybe in a rampage because of the rider.
Wyverns on the rooftops.
Yes, and Bodhi on the floor. She says that he's reaching. Why? And what is the dragon? Because Kurt is not here and he was really bad injured. So where is the dragon and why he's reaching on the ground?
Yeah, I think we've talked probably a lot about this today, but we really need to know where they are at this point. All we know is that there's a town square visible, the skyline of the city. She can see the tower. She's not far away. Mm-hmm. It feels like they're within the city walls, but because there's a town square, like it would be weird if they weren't. And until you said about Bodhi's potential second signet, I just could not see how Bodhi could get from here to Xaden. But I did feel Garrick was one that potentially made sense, but I still don't even think he makes sense because he can't walk. He can't do his, he can't walk. He can walk. He can't do his distance wielding unless he reaches, then he could. He hasn't done it at this point because he's got hazel eyes. Mm-hmm. He should be at this point because Imogen's just looking up at the sky. The giant mushroom cloud of shadow doom is on its way. The sky darkens.
So at this point when Garrick is there, we just leave him.
Bodhi
Xaden had been already with knowing the new
for 20 minutes?
Yes. Well, a few minutes, but yeah.
He's been missing.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been missing for that long. And it doesn't stack up unless Bodhi is not actually there in the town square.
Yes. So for me, it has to be Bodhi for a lot of reasons. And the only thing that it gives it, maybe, is, maybe the second signet is making Imogen look at him. There's there, but he actually is not there.
Yeah, or it's not Bodhi or Garrick. It's Auric.
Yeah, I still know. Even when we can say that, yes, Auric saw on his,
precog for 5 months. Yeah,
but that doesn't explain the Xaden knew everything that he saw me struggling all this time.
I've been saying this for weeks. So the only reason I like the idea that it could be Auric is that it gets him out of the way. Like, he's way too useful. Mm-hmm. You need to do something to weaken that signet, otherwise it's just going to be too helpful, isn't it? Yeah. So I feel like the 5 months thing is something we hang on quite a lot, but he's also not necessarily there at the end. We don't see him at the end.
No. So he's missing.
We only know it's definitely not Dane. But then we're saying it could be Garrick and Bodhi. But if you go by these chapters, like, both of them they might as well be accounted for.
Yeah, the strange thing is both of them, they're seen basically at the same time and the same place.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out who it is. I can't wait to be totally wrong again. Imogen says, tell every rider within the walls to get over here and disarm.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way we're living through this.
Yeah.
Is she wanting to retreat? What does that mean? Get over here and disarm.
I don't know if she means and they need to bring their weapons. Maybe they have to do something with those weapons. So she is after the weapons because Felix is imbued in doing stuff there. But
Oh, like reload.
yeah, something. But not sure exactly. Didn't work anyway because right after this, Sedan is just wiping everything. Yeah.
But we still don't know what Felix's signet is, but I feel like it's probably more now something to do with like metal manipulation or siphon, like imbuing. He's able to imbue.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's something like that and not truth-sayer, although I was convinced he was a truth-sayer.
I don't know, because there was a couple of interaction with Violet. Violet was just telling like dragon secrets, like
She's just,
nothing. And then he knew about Garrick as well. How did he tell him?
Maybe saw him. He was like pinging around all over the place, wasn't he? Maybe he wasn't just. Dane saw him, so
yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
How he found out? That's another question. Because Imogen said, "Oh shit, Felix now that he's a distance wielder."
Yeah, Imogen knew, but nobody knows Bodhi.
Maybe they know, just they haven't tell us. Definitely he has one.
I think he would keep it a secret. Actually, I don't, because he never keeps anything a secret. He can't keep secrets.
Yeah, but we finish this chapter is with Imogen saying, so Rangel better take their leader all the way the fuck out, or all this would have been for nothing.
Yeah. So, should we just do another recap at the end of this chapter of where everyone is?
Okay.
Imogen is somewhere with Felix and Trissa looking up at the sky.
Close to the tower. It's kind of like outside of Drayton. Like
I think it's inside because you can see the town square. Bodhi is in this town square, or at least she thinks.
What appears to be Bodhi.
What appears to be Bodhi is in this town square. Garrick has just left, but he's walked away. He hasn't stepped away. Dane, he didn't come. He was still fighting. He was like
He was
missing.
fighting at that moment with a wyvern. Yeah, and the dragon, Kath.
Yeah, and then we presume that Riddick, Sawyer, Kat, Marin are still protecting the civilians climbing the Madara Pass. Zayden is in the canyon. So is Panchak.
Yeah.
Kaori is on the east wall. I think we need to keep an eye on him.
We're still doing it.
Yeah.
Even if he's not there, we're still.
Yeah. He's Venin. He might not be the Venin brother, but he's Venin. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm always so confident and so wrong. Right. Shall we move on to Oryx auguries?
Okay.
This is the part of the show where we recap our favourite theory from today, and in the hope that we get at least one right, and we can stitch them all together and see how bonkers we've been.
Yeah.
What's your favourite theory from today?
I'm going to stay with Bodhi has a second signet that allows him to be in two places at the same time.
I like this because it makes us... It's like the only...
explanation.
I know, it's the only explanation. I love it. It's my favourite too.
For me, it has to be this because otherwise it's neither Garrick or Bodhi because they are together at the same time when a place where none of them should be. But a signal like that, then maybe he's projecting himself what's happening at the same time next to Zayden. That makes sense.
Yeah. That is my favourite too. But to avoid going and repeating it, I'm going to lock in some predictions for book 4. Not necessarily like a major theory. I think we'll get a Dane POV chapter.
Okay.
And I think Tairn will fight with Codah. So I think we've had 2 little hints for each of those things. So I'm going to lock in those predictions. They're not really like major plot theories, but things that I think we'll see.
You can see like the foreshadowing happening here. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Sticking with the theme of precognition.
Yes.
The epigraph for chapter 64 next week. A gift from one servant of Dune to another. I must warn you, only those touched by the gods should wield their wrath. I will pray to her that she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who curries her favour. Her path is still not set. Recovered correspondence of High Priestess Desiree to His Royal Highness Cadet Auric Greycastle, Prince Camleon of Navarre. We've been talking about this the whole series. We finally get a chance to talk about it.
Finally, like a deep analysis on that.
Okay, shall we enter the interrogation chamber?
Okay, let's go to the interrogation chamber.
This week, we have had multiple POVs of events happening at the same time. If you could have one extra POV at this time, whose would it be?
Bodhi.
I'm glad you said that, so I can pick a different one, because I want Bodhi's too. But...
Yeah, go for Garrick.
No, I want Kaori's.
Kaori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Something about him, isn't it?
I think Rebecca Yarros has us all totally transfixed on who is the Venin brother. And like, shit's kicking off. Someone's died. Like, Riddick could be dead for all we know. Sorry, everyone. That came out a bit.
I mean, there's a brown dragon on the floor, dead.
Yeah, but it's in the wrong place. But anyway, like, things could have happened. And we are so distracted by who the Venin brother is. And maybe that's not the real story here. Maybe there's just a bigger story.
Yeah.
I want Kaori's POV.
Yeah, good one too.
This week, we got a little glimpse into Imogen and Quinn's time at Basgiath. If you could be a fly on the wall between other friends in the series, just for like a moment, like crossing the parapet, or who would you be following?
Okay. Interesting one too. Yeah.
And that is all we've got time for this week. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Faithfully Fantasy Pod. If you are Spanish speaking, you can also follow us at Fantasia Fiel. So wherever you're following us, come and join the conversation. We'd love to hear your theories, so if you've got a theory, send it our way. We always give credit on the show and on socials because, let's be honest, some of the best theories come from you.
And with this, we have just one more thing to say. Thank you for listening to Faithfully Fantasy,
the husband and wife podcast talking all things Onyx Storm.
We'll see you next week with more theories, more deep dives, and of course, with more Faithfully Fantasy.
Bye.